For the first time in the Fed's 111-year history, a president is firing a Federal Reserve governor.
Yeah, in an unprecedented move last night, President Trump said he's firing Lisa Cook. Joining us now live from the White House is CBS News political reporter Natalie Brand. Natalie, thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Yeah, so what are the circumstances surrounding Cook's firing, and is there any evidence to support why she was fired?
Well, we all found out based on the social media post, which included the letter of termination addressed to Board of Governors Lisa Cook. And in it, the president references the Federal Reserve Act, saying that he can fire a member if there's cause. And for him, he's saying that that cause is allegations made by one of his administration officials claiming that Cook engaged in mortgage fraud by claiming two different residences, one in Atlanta, one in Michigan, as her primary residence. But the issue here is there have not been formal charges. There's not been due process, legal proceedings, or a way for Cook to answer to the allegations made against her. She, in a new statement, is saying that she's not going to resign. She's retained a high-profile attorney who is promising to fight this. And as you noted, this move is unprecedented. So legal experts, they are expecting a lengthy court battle to follow, which could really end up going all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
We should say the allegations against Lisa Cook aren't baseless, but as you said, there has not been any due process. She hasn't been found guilty of any wrongdoing. In so many ways, this is unprecedented. Is this also somewhat of a test to see how far the president could kind of be able to have control over this board?
Yeah, that's the big question here. We know that for months now, the president has put increasing pressure on the Fed chair and, the board, as well as the committee, which makes decisions on interest rates to try to lower rates. If he's successful in ousting Cook, then that leaves a vacancy that he could then fill with, a member more favorable to his policy views. So analysts are saying, that this really threatens to undermine the independence of the U.S. Central Bank. And it's also important to point out that because a president has never tried to do this before, it's not gone before the U.S. Supreme Court to really revisit the law, the Federal Reserve Act, and try to dig into what cause means. The allegations that you referenced, CBS is digging into them as well. The incident stemmed from a time before Cook was nominated to the board by President Biden. So this was before she was in office. And in her initial response, when the president brought up these allegations on social media last week and called for her to resign, she said that she was not going to be bullied based on a tweet, and that she would, answer the information, provide the facts. But really, the question here is there is a process that must be followed in order to really get to the bottom of what's being alleged here.
Yeah, and of course we know how important the Federal Reserve is in impacting what Americans pay in many aspects of everyday life. I think for the average American, they want to understand, how does this impact them? We talk a lot about the Fed Reserve Chair, not often about the Federal Reserve Governor.
Right, exactly. And it's this larger committee that makes those critical decisions on interest rates and trying to balance borrowing rates for the American consumer and also the labor market. And the Fed chair themselves, a number of analysts have really stressed that the independence of this body is critical to the health of the U.S. economy, the ability for these members to make decisions based on objective data and information that they are receiving and not based on political influence.
Yeah, and looking at the markets, there's not much movement this morning, so I think people still looking to see how this all plays out. Natalie Brand, thank you so much for being with us this morning.